We are presenting you with our application to build the Forum for Food Production in the World and the Culinary College for Humanity. And it's a special introduction to the Agriculture Land Commission, who I have respected since the day I came here 35 years ago, and I was told, Steve, look around. You've got mountains and wilderness and very few places to plant anything. If you make a 8.5 by 11 graph of all of Canada, you have maybe 1.5, maybe 2 squares of that whole graph. That's agriculture. And we need to respect that. And the Agricultural Land Commission, I want to work with them. That's the purpose of this whole idea, is education, so that there's real appreciation of what we have. And that is astounding, what we have here. Magnificent growing conditions. We can be a model to the whole world and produce a lot of food here too. This venture that we are proposing is what is needed to make it all happen. World Forum for Food Production and the Culinary College for Humanity is a vision that I've held for going back almost 35 years when I started here. And when I learned that you could grow grapes here, I said, oh my God, you can grow grapes here? And I was on the next plane out because I've always yearned to make beautiful wines, and we found the most glorious conditions here to make wines that would win awards around the world and bring pride to all Canadians. So we've done so beautifully, and we've been leaders in returning to nature as much as possible in every step. This learning center opens up the idea of conversion of monoculture to permaculture. And that's a much higher use of the land, in my opinion, including the hollyhock introduction. We were privileged to know the founders of Hollyhock, which is a 40-year tradition of welcoming people from around the world to stay there, 120 students at a time, and all mingle with each other for 6 days of workshops. And they don't leave the property. They get to know each other. They sit in the hot tub together. They take walks together. They eat together. They're encouraged to change tables and all eat with each other and learn about each other. And it's fostered some of the most wonderful relationships in the world. These are people who made friends 35, 40 years ago, and they built empires out of those friendships. It's a beautiful business relationship to get to know each other. The most refreshing thing is to get away from our screens and away from our offices and into a relationship where we can talk to somebody once, face to face, and in a classroom situation, and have dialogue between us. We're all each other's teachers. It's a beautiful thing that we're presenting. We have listened very carefully to the comments, and we have dramatically reduced the plan from 150 suites to 150 beds, with cooking facilities in the hallways, and so each person can cook for each other in groups, all kinds of things that make it workable, again, according to the Hollyhock plan, and listening to the neighbors. We toned down everything. It's the roof lines are more in a residential fashion. The type of materials we're using are all natural, cedar roofs and stuff like that, versus concrete blocks and all that. So it is very much in keeping with this neighborhood, residential and agriculture. We're picking up agriculture in doing the project. We're actually going to be building gardens on the roofs and recapturing the entire septic area, which we'll have to do. We're going to tie into the sewer, so we get all that land back that we can continue our gardens and our vineyards and our animals. We have chickens and all kinds of agricultural things that we want to do there. From the standpoint of our application itself, it's, I would say, a very watertight craft. World food production is very much needed now. The production of food on our planet is the single most ruinous activity and the greatest cause for climate change that we have. And it's time for us to learn about what we can do, and there's a lot we can do.
Hi, my name is Ron Mattiusi. I was the former city manager and city planner for Kelowna since 1995. I know an awful lot about agriculture because part of my job was to work with the agricultural industry and preserve this great farmland, which is probably the greatest asset that Kelowna has. Well, you know, I've known the Sipe family since 1995 and have had worked with them over the years. And you know, one of the things I came to recognize is they always were pioneers. They were pioneers on how to grow the grapes. They were pioneers on organic farming. They were pioneers on how to make the wine, how to sell the wine. You know, I think they really did set the standard, and I think once again, as pioneers, they're breaking new ground, literally, on a project that takes everything they've done for the last 20 years and enhance it. It's sort of the next step, and the next step is this college, which I think will be an asset for not only Kelowna and the Okanagan, but for Canada and the world, because you know, why wouldn't you do something like that right here? It's the perfect place. I think one of the things that this project has is, first off, it has a family that's been in the business for a long time and has been part of the agriculture, and again, pioneering various forms of agriculture and organic in particular. And you know, they've proven themselves. This is not someone just entering this field and with grandiose ideas. These are people that built it from the ground up. And I think for me, as a person who spent the last 35 years trying to preserve agriculture on behalf of the Agricultural Land Commission and the citizens of Kelowna, I think this is a great addition. I do not see anything but benefits by allowing this to happen for agriculture for the future.
Welcome to Summerhill Vineyard, future home of the Culinary College for Humanity. This vineyard has been organic since my parents moved our family here in 1987 and planted the vineyard to winemaking grapes. Since then, we've developed some really amazing organic systems that have actually helped to revolutionize the organic industry in the Okanagan Valley and even around the world. We developed something that people now call regenerative agriculture. They used to tell us you had to spray herbicides or till underneath the vines, and you can see now that we leave a ground cover with a lot of diversity in the ground cover, and that's to create an ecosystem on the farm, so that it's not just sort of a monoculture of grapes, but it's a vineyard ecosystem where grapes are the keystone species. Here in my hand you can see this is mostly from production. You can see the grape seeds in here and the stems and the stalks. We've also got the landscaping waste. We got all the stuff from the bistro. If you eat in our restaurant, you don't finish your plate, we'll scrape it into a compost bucket and bring it down here. And also all of our neighbors' horse bedding, our own chicken manure, everything comes down here. And this is the stomach of the farm. This is incredibly important to farming in harmony with the earth, is recycling nutrients. And this creates organic matter in our soils, and that allows a living soil. Nutrients and water are able to stay there in our sandy silt, glacial lake bottom soils.
Kelowna is surrounded for 200 miles in every direction by wilderness. This is an amazing place in the world. This valley can support growing of almost everything. And that's a treat right there. It's unique and beautiful. So it'll be a school of vast dimension and potential. When we first announced the intention to have the Culinary College for Humanity, it was amazing. The response was huge. Within 3 weeks, we had a class of 15 students. Our chef, Jeremy Lipin, who is a teacher of culinary arts at the college, was excited because he said, I can take every one of those 15 students and they'll be prepared to have a job in any one of the restaurants or in any food industry or any hospitality industry at the end of the course. And the whole course was only, I think, 6 weeks. So, wow, that's like 15 new careers that we could have had it not been for COVID.
The school and the farm is the classroom. I've been a culinary arts instructor for 11 years. We always buy whole animals, rather buying whole chickens and breaking them down, whole ducks, breaking them down. We actually buy whole cows. And then they go to a plant, they get processed for us, the whole cow comes in, and then we just rotate that through our menu, through features, through specials, through this, so nothing from that cow is wasted. We're not one of those places that just wants a strip loin or a tenderloin on their menu. We want to be able to just serve a whole animal, because if you just have tenderloin, how many animals have to be processed just to bring us tenderloin? You're doing the animal injustice. So we want to make sure that, you know, anything that we do justice to the animal, we do justice to the abattoir, and we do our part, and we're responsible in not wasting pieces of whole animals.
Summerhill Vineyard, the whole thing is pretty close to 80 acres, and almost a quarter of it is given over to nature preserves. We invite nature in, we work with nature, and we take nature as our teacher. We know that we don't understand all of the complex interactions that happen in nature, in an ecosystem, in the soil. It's something humans are just really starting to learn about scientifically. This is what we really want to share with the world, and the conversation that we really want to have. It's a very important conversation to have. The way we produce food is an enormous way that we interact with the earth. We have a huge impact on the earth by producing food for ourselves. And right now, our food system is industrialized and international and corporate. And what a world it would be to have a regionalized human food system. We just learned with the coronavirus that getting your supply chains regionalized is extremely important. We know that living in harmony with the earth is extremely important, and something that humanity is learning how to do. We're getting better all the time. And this is our vision for the future of humanity and the way we produce food. And we want to help that vision manifest on planet Earth for our civilization, so we can be happier, healthier, more successful, more spiritually connected, and a better society. And this is a beautiful place, the Okanagan Valley. We believe people will come here from all around the world to learn and to be inspired and to take their learnings home with them.
There'll be like courses for like the everyday person. So you're going to come here, you're going to sign up for a 3, 5, 7-day course, and you can take multiple courses throughout that. But through those courses, we're going to teach you how to like zero waste cook. We're going to teach you how to shop properly for groceries. Like, you look at stats in Canada that 35 to 40% of groceries that people buy are wasted.
In this particular situation, you've got a college that's going to be teaching people about the importance of sustainable food production, actually located in a biodynamic and organic setting of the vineyard itself. You can't ask for a better situation for that. In terms of siting, you've got an issue of context with the surrounding neighbors itself, but the college has been planned very carefully to be on the downhill slope of Chute Lake Road, so the visual impact from Chute Lake is minimal, if at all. And from Lakeshore Road below, it's set way back from the road itself, and the visual impact is minor as well. So from a contextual perspective, there's very little, if no, impact on the surrounding community.
So what we really did is we've lessened the volume, we've lessened the scale, and we've created an interesting roof line with a combination of low slope pitched roofs to really fit in with the topography, with the background mountains. It's all about a visual integration into the site. The legacy will be that we've elevating the human condition with respect to food production, with respect to greenhouse gases, with respect to preserving and living in harmony with nature.
The other consideration, and obviously, is the transportation impact of a college. It's perception that would generate a fair bit of traffic. But again, because it is developing on sustainable context, the intent is to bring people in by the electric vehicles, shuttles from the airport, from downtown, many times a day. We're talking about coming in once. The other aspect is that it's a self-sustainable development itself, in and of itself, in that once you're here, everything you need is on site. The building itself is actually an example of how to incorporate sustainable food production into architecture.
Trying to educate urbanites as far as where does the food come from. Some would say, well, it's Safeway or Costco. I mean, they just go down to the store. They have no idea. And with this opportunity to educate people, not only locally, but globally, the fact that food production is one of the largest contributors to climate change and some of the issues of natural poor pesticide management and all the natural calamities that are taking place in the world. I think that there's no better time, no better place.
This is the Makwala Memorial Kikuli. Very grateful that my dad, some of the first relationships he made when our family moved here in the 80s was with the Derrickson and Hall family from the West Bank First Nation, and we built this together with them here. And I love having the building here. I find that it really gives you a totally different perspective on living in harmony with nature and close to earth. And I think that's a perspective that is really useful for our civilization at this moment.
You know, there's got to be a better way. And this is it. This is it. If we teach communities to really look at their own backyards to see what they can do on their own responsible level and hold themselves accountable to the land, to the rooted ones, to the flyers, to the swimmers, and to the other walkers of this earth. If we can position ourselves in relationship with those things, with our brothers, our relatives, then it becomes a different story. Then you begin to share that familyness, that relationality. It's not just an object for sale. It becomes an essence and a spirit that you're connected with. And as relatives, we have a responsibility to one another to think about the next person. And this is our way of doing that. It's our way of relating in a beautiful way to show care, to show honesty, to show, humility, to learn from one another even, to show all the beautiful teachings and principles of life and to really exude that onto one another. So as an Indigenous woman who's experienced the legislations that suppressed our people, as in so many ways, from the 60 scoop to residential school to the reservation system and all of that, this is a wonderful opportunity for Indigenous people to come together, to join together, to learn together, to share together.
The Culinary and Agricultural College project couldn't come at a better time for our Indigenous people because of the healing that's needed, but also showing a better way of life for everyone. Because we need to understand how we can coexist in a better way and involve our youth, involve all those people that are ready now for that big change in their life. And this will present a change because it presents some opportunities to eat better food, to be more fit, to be able to understand more about, what healthy medicines and plants and foods are, and also how to work together. That's an important another dimension of this project, is you have a lot of people from different walks of life working together to realize a new way, a new era, a new path for us all.
It would put Kelowna and British Columbia on the map as the culinary capital of Canada. We have a wonderful international airport here. It would bring in people from all over the world who would recognize what we have here, that no one else really has what we have. All of these combinations make Summerhill a very enchanting place to be. It's time to acknowledge before it's too late.
So what's your vision of the future and the way we feed ourselves? Is it the road we're on, where our food is produced by huge corporations, trucked and shipped around the world, wrapped in plastic? Or is it a future that's regional and human-based? And if we're going to change the road we're on, and we're going to change our future, how are we going to get there? And those are the questions that we want to ask at the Culinary College for Humanity.